Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the world of landscaping. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out with your very first yard, we all want a beautiful outdoor space we can be proud of. But sometimes, even with the best intentions, we make mistakes that can turn our garden dreams into a bit of a nightmare. Don't worry, I've been there. That's why today, I'm sharing the top landscaping mistakes I see all the time, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. So grab a notebook, and let's get your yard looking its absolute best. First up, and this is a big one, not having a plan. I get it, you're excited. You go to the nursery, you see all these gorgeous plants, and you start buying them without thinking about where they'll go. This is what I call impulse gardening. It often leads to a chaotic, mismatched look, and you might end up with plants that aren't right for your space. Before you buy a single plant, take a step back. Sketch out your yard. Think about how you want to use the space. Do you need a play area for kids? A quiet spot for reading? A patio for entertaining? Consider things like sun exposure, soil type, and your climate. A solid plan is your roadmap to success. It saves you time, money, and a lot of headaches down the road. It doesn't have to be a professional blueprint. Even a simple drawing on a piece of paper can make all the difference. Next, let's talk about planting too close together. Those tiny little shrubs and trees look so cute in their nursery pots, right? It's easy to forget that they're going to grow ... a lot. A common mistake is planting them way too close to each other or to your house. Fast forward a few years, and you've got an overgrown jungle. Plants are competing for sunlight, water, and nutrients. They can become stressed, more susceptible to disease, and you lose that beautiful layered look you were going for. Always check the plant tag. It will tell you the mature size of the plant. Use that information to give everything enough room to breathe and grow to its full potential. A good rule of thumb is to plan for the plant's size in 5 to 10 years, not its size today. Mistake number 3 is ignoring your soil. Your soil is the foundation of your entire garden. You can buy the most expensive, beautiful plants in the world, but if your soil is terrible, they're not going to thrive. Many people just dig a hole, plop the plant in, and hope for the best. Before you plant anything, you need to understand your soil. Is it heavy clay that holds too much water? Is it sandy and drains too quickly? Is it lacking in nutrients? You can get a simple soil test kit from most garden centers or your local extension office. Once you know what you're working with, you can amend it. Adding compost is almost always a good idea. It improves the structure and fertility of almost any soil type. Healthy soil means healthy plants. It's as simple as that. Let's move on to watering woes. This one goes both ways. Overwatering and underwatering. It's a classic rookie mistake. Overwatering is actually one of the most common ways people kill their plants. It can lead to root rot and other fungal diseases. On the other hand, underwatering stresses plants, making them weak and wilted. So how do you get it right? The key is to water deeply, but infrequently. Instead of a light sprinkle every day, give your plants a good long soak once or twice a week, depending on the weather and plant type. This encourages roots to grow deep into the soil, making them more resilient. And always check the soil before you water. Stick your finger about 2 inches down. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If it's damp, hold off. Your plants will thank you. Another big mistake I see is what I call mulch volcanoes. Mulch is fantastic for your garden. It helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and regulate soil temperature. But there's a right way and a wrong way to apply it. The wrong way is piling it up high against the trunk of a tree or the stems of your plants, creating that volcano shape. This traps moisture against the bark, which can lead to rot, disease, and can even attract pests. It can literally girdle and kill your trees over time. The correct way is to apply a 2 to 3 inch layer of mulch, keeping it a few inches away from the base of your plants and tree trunks. Think of it more like a donut than a volcano. This gives your plants all the benefits of mulch without the dangerous side effects. All right, let's talk about pruning problems. Pruning can be intimidating, and because of that, people either don't do it at all or they go way overboard. If you don't prune, your shrubs and trees can become overgrown and messy, and they may not flower or fruit as well. But if you prune at the wrong time or in the wrong way, you can damage the plant or even remove next year's flower buds. The secret is to know your plant. Different plants need to be pruned at different times. For example, spring-flowering shrubs like forsythia or lilacs should be pruned right after they finish blooming. If you prune them in the fall or winter, you'll cut off the buds for next spring's show. Do a little research on each specific plant in your yard. A few minutes of research can save you a year of disappointment. Here's a mistake that affects the overall look of your yard. Not thinking about year-round interest. It's easy to design a garden that looks amazing in late spring when everything is in bloom. But what about the other 10 months of the year? A great landscape has something interesting to look at in every season. When you're planning, think about a mix of plants. Include evergreens for winter structure and color. Choose plants with interesting bark like a river birch, or ones that have beautiful berries for fall and winter. Think about ornamental grasses that look stunning with a dusting of snow. By layering plants with different bloom times, foliage colors, and textures, you create a garden that is dynamic and beautiful all year long, not just for a few weeks in May. Another pitfall is underestimating maintenance. You might fall in love with a photo of a formal English garden, complete with perfectly clipped hedges and intricate flower beds. But do you realistically have the time and energy to maintain it? Be honest with yourself about how much work you're willing to put in. If you have a busy life, a low-maintenance design might be a better fit. This doesn't mean your yard has to be boring. You can use native plants that are adapted to your climate and require less care. You can incorporate more hardscaping like patios and walkways, and use ground covers to reduce the amount of lawn you have to mow. Designing a garden that fits your lifestyle is crucial for long-term enjoyment. Finally, the last mistake is being afraid to make mistakes. I know it sounds a bit counterintuitive, but it's true. Gardening is a journey of learning and experimentation. Not every plant you try will survive. Not every design idea will work out, and that is perfectly okay. The most experienced gardeners are the ones who have learned from their failures. Don't be afraid to move a plant that isn't happy. Don't be afraid to try something new. Your garden is your personal space, a place for you to be creative and connect with nature. Enjoy the process, celebrate the successes, and learn from the mishaps. That's what makes gardening so rewarding. So there you have it, some of the most common landscaping mistakes and how to steer clear of them. From planning your layout to watering correctly and embracing the learning process, These tips will help you create a beautiful, thriving outdoor space that you can enjoy for years to come. I hope you found this helpful. What are some landscaping lessons you've learned along the way? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your stories and tips. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more gardening advice. Thanks for watching and happy gardening.